check it.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
It's a GMS New Orleans camp or the Young Lions camp. Coming back with another one on this nice Friday. Before we get started, we want to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadah. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Shalom.
And for this live camp, we're just gonna get into how close we is, to eternity, to forever. All right, because we're this close. And we just got done with the Passover, and throughout the
Yeah.
throughout Israel, everybody just been in the spirit of, how close we is, man. And we just strongly believe that this was the last Passover, all right, before we get delivered. Okay. But we're this close. We almost out of hell. We almost out of captivity, and we're about to walk into our glory. All right.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, and that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
Con. Right now, the America is going to war with Iran. All right. This is a very uh major prophecy, of the scriptures. All right, that gives us an inclination that we about to be, translated from this place, delivered from this place. All right, this is going to ultimately usher in the whole how can I say it? The whole
World War III.
The whole thing of World War III.
And if I could add to you real quick, all of the dominoes and the chips that's set to fall with it. Right,
Yeah.
we can see the economy going down the drain. People
Yep.
complaining right now about the gas prices. Well, just wait and see. We got all this at $170 a barrel right now, man.
Yep.
Wait till it hits 200, But all of these chips are going to fall. That's why it says that this is high time. All right, but go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, how much more the brother Kabal right before this we started camp, he was showing us a video of even Eve saying, like, we don't even have nowhere near 10 years left here.
Yeah.
There's no reason to try to make anything out of it. We just gotta wait for the Lord to come back. So if even Eve can see it, bro, how much more the men of the Lord? Like, we that close. We at the end. Eve saying we don't got no time, nigga. Like, come on, bro. All right, so the times is fastly approaching us to where we're about to be delivered, man. All right, everything is about to crash. Everything is about to go downhill for Babylon the Great. All right, and everything is about to uprise for the Israelites. All right, more so the elect men of Israel. All right, we about to receive our glory. But if brothers don't got nothing, a brother could give me a whole 2 Peter 3, start at verse about like 9. You got it. Y'all brothers y'all can bring y'all precepts out too. After this.
No, he already said you had it.
Right there, 2 Peter.
This 2 Peter 3 and 9.
Yeah, come on.
And Yahweh is not slack concerning his promises, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all shall come to repentance.
So, like it tells you in what is it? Habakkuk where it says, "Do it, Terry, wait for it." All right, the Lord is not slack concerning His promise. All right, so even though it may seem like it's not happening, exactly when we want it to, it surely is happening right before our eyes. All right, the dominoes are just still falling. All right, things have yet to come to full fruition. All right, but the Lord is not slack concerning His word or His promise. Go ahead.
Verse 10. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Earth also and the works therein shall be burnt up.
And this is the day that we look for, all right? The day of the Lord, all right, when He brings destruction upon Babylon the Great, all right? Because this is our enemy, all right? And His destruction comes with our deliverance, our salvation, all right? So we're waiting for the Lord to get ready to destroy this place with the nuclear missiles. And it's right in front of our faces. In recent years, ICBM nuclear missiles have become more and more and more and more common. All right, we're seeing it all over the news, different news articles and things of that nature. So we know these Bible prophecies are coming to life.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in holy conversation and godliness?
Yeah, and like the point I just mentioned with the brother showing that video of Eve saying we don't have nowhere near close to 10 years here, right? If Eve saying, what you think the mindset of a man of the Lord or a prophet should be in this time?
Right.
All right, we gotta be on our score, man.
Hey, if I could add to you, as a watchman and seeing, again, it's a sign. Seeing the uproar of the people is another sign to look for. But seeing people get in that mindset of panic, that should spark a sense of relief, to a man of the Lord. Because again, we know that our salvation is nearer than what we believe. We know that if people is in mass panic and chaos right now, and as the world is being turned completely upside down, we know our salvation, our Lord is near.
Yeah, he closed, bro. He closed. Like it's people that don't even have the unction or the understanding of the Holy Bible can see what's going on to an extent.
Mhm.
All right, they can see that the end is approaching. All right, so we know it's here, bro. It's here. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, yeah, a little more on that.
This 2 Peter 3 and verse 12. Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwell righteousness.
See, and they go hand in hand. Right, the destruction goes along with the ushering in of the kingdom in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. All right, so that's the day that we're looking for, and it's vastly upon us. Let me see 14. That's cool. That's cool. Y'all brothers got, we have one.
Yeah.
Con,
This is Isaiah 52 and verse 1. The heading reads the Lord's coming salvation. It says, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. So
What?
So the Lord, is calling for what? The elected a nation of Israel to return to these scriptures, man, to return to their power. Like the brother is saying, everybody is seeing that the Lord's return is on the high rise, so to speak, right? You have people that's basically not even in the truth proclaiming, say, hey, look, man, y'all might want to get ready for what's to come, right? You might want to get ready for, basically they don't know, but Jacob's trouble, or some type of false flag. Okay, I'm gonna continue on. It says, for henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. It says, verse 2, it says, shake. And real quick, with that uncircumcised, it goes into the uncircumcision. When you appear before the Lord uncircumcised, is what? Without the circumcision, meaning not knowing who you are, being unclean. All right, we don't present ourselves before the Lord unclean. Certain things that we do before we approach the altar, all right, that makes us clean. All right, by not doing those things, popping a woman, doing different things, that makes you unclean at the altar. All right. But that's symbolic of representing us returning into our true power. Go ahead.
Circumcision of the mind.
Yeah, circumcision of the mind. God.
Yeah, just to help you out, again, and land back, furthermore on the point, that circumcision of the mind being clean, as the brother said, being washed by the word. All right. And that's how you that's how you are to be clean. That physical cleanliness, don't, obviously it matter,
Right.
in a worldly basis.
Jesus, sure.
Yeah.
It's funky.
Jay just come to camp dirty as a motherfucker. Like, come on, no. But still, being spiritually clean, being refreshed, renewed, unlearned from the stupid things in life and knowing the important things, being the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the scripture.
I'm gonna back you up with a precept.
Yep.
This is a Romans 2 and 28. It says, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. And that's what we have in Israel. A lot of people proclaiming to be Israelites, and they're not actually taking on the customs or doing the law, or basically being false prophets, man. And it says, neither is that. Break it down, bro. It's like, it says, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh.
It says, verse 29, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart in the spirit and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God.
Yeah, circumcision is that of them that of the inwardly. All right. So the Lord knows our hearts. He knows our mind. All right, and that's what really matters. All right. They got people who, try to come out and display themselves as these, uppity Israelites, perfect Israelites,
Portraying
which
the image.
yeah, portraying the image. All right. But we know that their intentions of their heart is not sincere and it's not pure. All right. They display this to the masses on on camera, but when they go back to their regular life, they're a demon. Right? They wicked. They doing all sorts and manners of transgressing the laws according to the dietary laws, marriage laws, whatever you have it, committing adultery, eating pork, whatever all those things, man. Making merchandise of the ministry.
Yep.
All right, all those things. So they're not Jews inwardly. All right, they're not. Their minds are not circumcised. All right, they still wicked.
I got something for you.
Kind, go ahead.
You got more now?
I got another verse.
You had more than that. Isaiah 52.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
last
go ahead.
verse.
Finish that out.
Okay, this is Isaiah 52 and verse 2. It says, shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. Yeah, yeah,
Kind. Yeah, so come back. Yeah, we gotta come back to our nationality, man. We gotta come back to knowing the Lord. All right, that's true circumcision of the heart and the mind. All
Right.
right.
If I could add to you real quick, because it says shake thyself from the dust,
Mm-hmm.
and which that dust represents what? Confusion.
Yep.
And the mass majority of our people, as we call you 2/3, are just confused, man. Right? But like the brother alluded to what the Eve said,
We don't have 10 pairs of that thing.
yeah, and a lot of our people, and she might fall under the wing of a brother or something. You never know.
Right.
But a lot of people starting to realize that this ain't it.
This ain't it, bro.
It's something better that presides than this captivity, man. All right, which represents those bands. When they say lose the bands from off thy neck, this captivity is done. It's accomplished, right? Like I said, Lamentations, affliction is accomplished, oh daughter of Zion, man. I get it for you. But you got it out.
This is real quick because you brothers was going into uh especially at this time, cleaning yourself up, and not being a 2/3, cleaning your act up. This is Matthew 23, real quick. Uh, it's I ain't gonna get all of it. It's a little bit. It's the parable of the inside the cup and the dirty and the outside parents of the cup. Okay. This is Matthew 23 and 25. It says, red letters, Yahweh Shah speaking, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisees, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, and that the outside of them may be clean. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanliness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear unrighteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. But the point was, again, the point being that cup being an example of what most people do. And this example was the Pharisees, but again, it could equate to the 2/3 of our people here in the world, and just 2/3 of just niggas in general. Niggas that show that outward appearance that looks so clean, is so outright, it's so righteous, it's so holy. But inward, you just a beast. A ravaged dog. Inward. But that's not the way to be, knowing that the Lord is coming back, that inside of that cup and the outside of that cup needs to be ready for that wedding.
Con. And that point just sparked, it just sparked something in my head because we in the past, right?
ain't go nowhere. Stayed in gear one the whole fucking time.
But anyway, we're in the time of the Passover, right? We're in a, you know, heavily in the spirit of cleansing ourselves, making sure we're pure, you know, and things of that nature, right? Because just like in the time of, you know, the ancient time, what happened with Egypt when during the Passover, when the Lord he smote all the firstborns, right, that didn't have uh, the blood of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, on their minds, spiritually. Okay, so that's just like the same thing. It's an inward thing, It's a thing of the mind, more so than physical or outside appearance. But
Real quick, that's crazy you say that. I literally earlier today I wrote the title in my phone. Well, it's in that phone of this truth is more spiritual than physical.
yeah,
You know, and it starts with what? First Peter, what is that? 3 around 8, I think. You know, when it talks about us being spiritual temples, it starts with us. You know, and everything else follows the unction. All of that is given. Everything we have now to the spirit. And then it's going to be carried out in the physical, man. You know, but that's crazy. You said that. I literally came up with that title today. You know, I put a few precepts with it. But you got it, brother.
yeah, you could read that again, and then I'm gonna let you bring that up. Where it say the extortion.
I got you.
Um,
This is Matthew 23 and 26. No, 25. It says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess." Excess.
I read that, bro.
This 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 8.
And it's just to correlate, you know, the two. Well, while we in the Passover, you know, so that's the spirit we expressing. Go ahead.
Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness,
See that? Go ahead.
but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
With the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Not trying to gain, you know, anything from this. Just being sincere and truthful. Trying to gain the Lord. That's it. That's all we trying to gain, bro. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
And if I can add to you what it says here in the NLT of that latter verse of Matthew 23 and 25, when it says the full of extortion and excess, it says, and the careful to clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside ye are filthy, full of greed and self-indulgence.
And that's that leaven. That's that leaven. That's that wickedness and that malice that their brother just read. In 1 Corinthians. We gotta purge that out. And if you don't, you're just gonna be destroyed. That's it, bro. That's all it is to it.
Get that in NLT too.
Yeah, if I could just add to you real quick, that greed and that self-indulgence that falls under the boat of pride.
Yeah.
All right. And we know that pride is hateful, you know, before the Lord. You know, the Lord, you know, he'll smite down any man, you know, that steps in front of him in a prideful manner.
Pride go before destruction.
Yep.
And the Holy Spirit before a fall, man.
Yes, brother. You got it.
Okay. This is 1 Corinthians 5 and 8, but in NLT. So let us celebrate the festival, not with old bread of wickedness and evil, but with the new bread of sincerity and truth.
You want to see something on it? I'll speak on it. With the it said the new bread of sincerity and truth. Yeah, again, man, that's the spirit we gotta be in. All right. Sincere and sincerity and truth. That's it. We're not doing this for no monetary gain. We're not doing this to appease the masses. We ain't doing this to bring the Israel women in. We just doing this because the Lord said we had to do it. We just following the ways of the Lord, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we can be saved.
That one, please.
That one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add to you, you know, because you have men within the truth that are basically men pleasers. Okay, they go around trying to seek righteousness through men and look righteous through men.
Yep.
You know, but that was just backing up.
As the priest have to back up what you just said. Ephesians 5 and 5. Point is in 6. It says, servants, Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart and unto Mashiach. All right. And just to, clarify, when it talks to masters, masters is going into your teachers. All right. It's not the slavery term of having a master or somebody slaving over you. You know what I'm saying?
Because
Mastering over you.
Jake can hear the word master and be like, oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. They talk about they got masters.
Yeah, the white
What
man.
you doing over there, man?
White man told him that.
Jake don't know nothing.
But Jake don't know nothing.
Jake don't know what words mean. Jake don't know context. Jake don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, saying that's how you know today, bro. These people is watered down. They tripping today, bro.
They're on a Good Friday, man. They all full of fucking
Crawfish and
daiquiris.
Yeah.
I told you, bro. On this, what I said that when I opened it up, bro. This nice Friday.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I said, they crazy.
Come on, bro. They
Nice
tripping.
Friday, man.
For the longest, I didn't know what the fuck people was talking about today.
Brother.
Today, Easter means Easter Sunday. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm coming home. They ain't have no traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Like, oh
it's a
damn.
motherfucker. I'm like, oh, I'm getting through this big.
Yeah, I'm like, it's 4 o'clock. But
That makes sense.
you about to see
No,
something?
I was just gonna say, it's crazy you say that because all the holidays that come up, I always forget about the holidays that come up
Yeah.
every single time
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's never on my mind.
Mhm.
And the guy that's over me at work is like, hey man, you gonna put your holiday pay in? You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay yourself. I was like, man, I forgot it was a
Oh,
holiday.
you gotta pay yourself?
Yeah.
It's not holiday pay. I'm paying myself.
No,
So when you put the day in,
Oh,
when
Yeah.
you put the day in, you get paid for it. Right?
yeah. But yeah. We do
But
all
nah. But I was back to that point I was saying, like when you use, that's how you know Jake watered down. You use words like master
Mhm.
and whatever like that, and Jake get offended.
Mhm.
All right. Because everybody is just is sensitive, emotional, dumbed down, right? You use any sort of masculinity with Jake, all right, they won't unalive you, man. All right, everybody get their panties in a bunch. All right, master don't mean that, bro. Go ahead, you want to say
yeah.
that?
Just back up. That's because they leader himself, he not masculine.
Yep.
So he don't want masculinity around him because he a bitch himself.
With the Ephesians 5 and 5 against his servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling and singleness of your heart, as unto Mashiach. All right, pretty much just being aligned. This whole thing, in this hierarchy that the Lord has set up, from Yahweh to Yahweh Shai to the men of Israel to the women of Israel. Everything has to be in a singleness, in the single file line of being aligned up Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. All right, but it says, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as servants of Hamashiach, doing the will of God from the heart, with goodwill doing service as to the Lord and not to men. So cutting that nonsense, that BS out, of being a men pleaser. And we got examples of men being men pleasers. Not to even get in depth with these camps, but we know, Jake knows what I'm talking about when it comes to critical people and so on and so forth. With all these, horses and all of these things that's just being a men pleaser. The Lord ain't asking for that. The Lord just wants you to do this work, man, and get the job done.
Well, like the scriptures say that they brought in their phylacteries, man.
Yeah.
So on that, the outward appearance makes them look righteous,
Mhm.
royal. Looks like how the nation is supposed to look. But like you said, that the doctrine is trash. It's a heresy,
So,
and it's only a matter of time before the Lord deals with them, man.
Oh, the one with the
yeah, you go with that, bro.
But if I can make a quick point though, all of this ties into like the brother been saying from the beginning on how close we are to the end.
Mhm.
What if this very well was the last Passover though?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
G
This
ain't
how
right.
this how close we is, but you're not right though.
Right.
You're not right inwardly.
Yeah.
You come to camp on, and this talking about men that's in so-called, great millstone, just to put the acronym on there, right? You may think because you come to camp on time, right? You show up to the lesson during the week, do a video, do a couple videos. You think you right inwardly, right? But you really might be dealing with demons, man. You know, this is a part of getting ready for the end. You know, but go ahead, we'll make a point.
Yeah, I want to make a point because right before the Passover, the spirit was on me very heavy about doing videos, man. The spirit was like, was basically telling me like, this all you got? Like you could do more. You know what I'm saying? And I was always that type of person to be like, I can do more. You know, which keeps me pushing. You know, keeps me thriving forward, man. You know, but that goes back into dealing with those demons, man, and not being, perfect, so to speak.
It was something you said, Kashad, and it sparked some.
What
I
about dealing with the inward man and
Yeah,
having demons on you?
it was something that you had just said that remember earlier you said you had they did a
Oh,
title
electric,
of lesson.
more spiritual than physical.
Con. I forgot exactly what I wanted to say. It's still my mind, but it'll come back to me.
Hmm.
It's Sirach 2 and 15. They that fear Yahweh will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his way. They that fear Yahweh will seek that which is well pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with his law.
Con. All right. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him. All right, and that's what we doing. We ain't trying to please nobody but the Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's it. All right, keep going, bro.
Verse 17. They that fear Yahweh will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight.
Read it one more time.
This is Sirach 2 and 17. They that fear Yahweh will prepare their hearts and humble their soul in his sight.
And that's what we've been going into, man. I purging out the old leaven. I is a part of preparing your heart, and humbling your soul for your Hashem Yahweh Shai. We're in a fight of steadily preparing our hearts, which is our mind. All right.
I would say that's spirit though, because I did a lesson earlier this week on what if Yahweh Shai was to make his return today? What would you feel like you would stand with the Lord? That's why you got to deal with that shit that you're dealing with, man. You got to deal with that shit now. You know, get that in order. Yeah, it's a war, the spirit versus the flesh. Yeah, we know that the flesh is weak, you know, but you got to get that shit in order, man. You know, and this applies to me first and foremost, and anybody else, man. You know, you got to get your affairs in order, man. All right, as a part of preparing yourself for the Lord's return. Jacob's trouble about to break out for crying out loud, you know? And if you don't prepare yourself accordingly, spiritually, okay, then what are you going to do? No, man. Oh, I should have did this. I should have did this. I should have got my... No, man. You got to do that shit right now. No? Go ahead.
It came back to me. I mentioned it first it's spiritual, then it's physical.
Yeah.
And then you said something about, you could be coming to camp or whatever like this, making it on time to all the lessons, everything we got to do physically. But your mind not in the spirit. You ain't in the spirit.
You're not here spiritually.
You ain't here spiritually.
You're here physically, but you're not here spiritually. You know?
Hey, that's the spirit, bro. When we first pulled up, we was talking to the elder Yakana. He was talking about, that account he always say when he had saw a video of Apostle Tahal telling some about, a brother was staring at the pigeons.
Brother,
on the power lines, man. You're like, what you doing? You staring at the pigeon shitting off the power line?
Yeah.
But like for a long time, dude. But that's like another example of where your mind need to be at.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, when you get this, go ahead, Salaki.
Make your point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when you like spiritually, your mind gotta be on point. You could be here physically and gone spiritually.
Yep.
Right? So that's part of this preparing our hearts and our minds. Go make your point.
Yeah, because if you're here physically, right, but your mind is at home, what are you even doing here?
Right.
Just go home.
Right.
You know? Of course, we got, brothers catching hell, different shit, we dealing with, right? But when we get to camp, all of that shit stop, man. Like brothers say all the time, the world stops when we get amongst the brother. All this shit we dealing with at home, that stays there. Once we step foot into this circle, we step foot at camp, we fellowshipping amongst brothers, We not worried about that shit, man.
Yep.
You know why? Because we in the spirit with each other. You see? You think Yahushua was worried about what his mama was doing, right? If he had a woman, you think he would have been worried about what his woman was doing, man? You know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his family had to come look for him. He like,
About
and am I not about my father's business?
Come on, man.
What y'all looking for me for? I'm
Yeah.
going to work, right?
Not even just that account. I remember when his mama, his brother now pulled up on him.
Yeah.
Disciple like, hey, your mama now looking for you.
Yeah, come,
He like, shit, who's the same as my family? Those who do the work. You
come.
wasn't even worried about it. Look, you ain't doing this work. I ain't even worried about it. That's basically what he just said.
Because what? He was in the spirit, though.
It was in the spirit.
He was in the. He wasn't worried about. All right, I'm doing the work right now, man. Like, you know, I'm at camp. You know, I deal with that shit after camp. You know, but that's just a mindset thing. You know, that we in preparing ourselves for the end, man.
Yeah, hey, when hey, bro, when we doing this, we on the front line. This is literally war.
Yeah,
Hey, we on the front lines. The scriptures talk about sending men back home who mind ain't ready to go to battle.
I'm about to get
I-
that account.
Your mind ain't ready to, bro. You gotta go home. Hey, if you, bro. Hey, if you just back then they say when you just got married, all right, you just popped a new woman or whatever like that.
Yeah.
You can't
Can't
go.
go more. Yes.
You gotta be at home with your woman, man. All right, cause your mind gonna be on it, right? So again, going back to the point of preparing our minds, all right, being spiritually on point, sober minded, all right, having that single eye.
I just want to add to you. I saw a video that one of the brothers had did, and they had a Edomite in the video. He was just crying, sobbing the tears, and saying he didn't want to die, going to war. He said, "I'm only 22, 23 years old. I don't want to die, man."
Mhm.
You know, but that's the lot that the Lord slated for these people. You know,
Hey, and listen, bro, it's a bunch of those, you know, type of people, and they just gonna go over there and get slaughtered. That's it. Hey, that's a spirit again. That brother Quab, he put something in early this morning, showing that these young men and these people that they drafting or whatever like that, they ain't ready to go to war, bro. They not mentally cut and built for war. Alright, that's why they gonna go over there and get slaughtered.
right? I just did a video on that where the IDF has put a had a active military personnel is 165,000 people, but they're not going in Iran.
Yeah,
They're not with them with boots on the ground.
right.
They're gonna stay on the home front and send the U.S. soldiers over there to go fight it. While they have 1.3 million active duty military personnel, right?
Yeah.
With a
Go ahead, finish your point.
and with another 1.5 million in the reserves, man. So you, like the brother was saying, you guys are gonna be like sheep led to the slaughter. There's a great sacrifice that's about to happen, and you're a part of it, man. Right? It's literally fight for me, die for me. That's what these people are telling you.
But that's what happens. Oh, go ahead, make your point.
Oh, I'm about to say, they literally said that. It ain't even something that just covered. They literally said, hey, go die for us.
Yeah.
Got it right.
got appreciate
If I can say it real fast though, because that's what happens, right? When you got Amalek, that's literally what you can see with Amalek and Esau, even though they're the same race, right? They have this like I said, had looks more stout, which applies to Esau, his looking at the different NATO nations, which we can see that too, but you can clearly see what Amalek like, I ain't sending my troops, nigga, you send yours. Yeah.
Just to add to you, 165,000 active troops is not enough to win any war,
No.
especially a major war.
No.
So we're gonna send you 1 million troops over there to go and do what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially against people like Russia and shit. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like when if you could put the people who's going to war for America on side the ones who's going to war for those other countries, the difference is very distinct. It's great. The difference is great. those people serious, ready to go die for what for their country, for their families, what they believe in. Right? It's not like here, these people here going. I got family members and shit, bro. They just going to the military and shit for benefits.
Yeah.
Like,
Mass,
they ain't trying to die.
mass majority of everybody that we know, brother, went to the military for benefits.
Not fighting for the
I
country.
don't gotta
bro.
pay for school. I get money on the side. I mean, that brother know. You know. Go ahead, bro. I know you're holding.
Yeah, that's all it's for.
Yeah.
But this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 33. It said the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegroom.
Mm-hmm.
The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
That's plain. That's the men. All right, that's everybody who's gonna get drafted and get sent overseas or whatever like that and go to war. They're gonna get left there. And that's it. All right. They're trying to I think I saw something else. They're trying to cover up the body count right now.
Always.
You know, bro, they getting hammered right now.
Yeah.
They getting hammered, you know. But hey,
I got them 2 accounts for you too. I
Con,
got the one in Samuel and I got the one in Judges.
Con,
Everyone you want free.
it's up to you, bro.
Very
Whatever-
kinda
whatever
thing.
you got, yeah, we go back to it, bro.
Con.
It's all good.
This which one you want first?
Whichever one you want right now.
The one with I got both of them.
Whichever the judges would be cool.
This Judges chapter 7 and verse 4. I'll start at 3 just to get the whole point. It says, now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 20 and 2,000. So he straight up said, I mean, man, I can't start at the top, but just to give a little context, right? They was getting ready to go to war. And the Lord told Gideon, he put the spirit on Gideon and said, look, if y'all scared, go home.
Go home.
You see? Verse
And we talking about, we just hopped on the subject of, you know, the regular people and the military and you know, shit like that. But first, we're speaking about the, you know, the men of the Lord, so to be.
right. I got that.
Going back to where your mind at. Is your mind prepared? All right, knowing what we are part of. This is deadly serious, like, you know, the elders and apostles always say. All right? This is a literal war, man. Go ahead, bro.
Yep. It says, and there remain 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, and the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go with thee. So he brought down the people unto the water, and Yahweh said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself.
Read that one more time, bro.
It says, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself.
Right. And the substance, the significance of that, all right, you're about to go to war. All right. When you think about how a dog drinks water, all right, he's not focused on what's going on around him. Right? He's just focused on drinking the water. This is not the time to be focused on other things. We in the midst of battle. We in the midst of, you know, things going on, chaos. All right. So how much more should we got to be focused? All right. If we're gonna do anything, our mind still has to be on our environment, what's going on around us. All right, what's happening here? What's happening there? We still got to be alert.
Right.
Got it.
If I could clarify real quick, the what's the damn word? First doing something, right? I can't think of the word, but whatever. You know, this is like take your hand. That's what was considered like lapping the water. Take your hand, put it in the water. You know, doing this. You know, because he said in the latter part, it says likewise everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. You know, so you had men that you stoop down like this, and you taking the lapping it up a little bit, kind of being on point. Then you had other men that just got down on their knees and put their goddamn face in the water.
Yeah, con, bro.
You know?
Con.
So I'm gonna read the rest for y'all. It says, verse 6, and the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you and deliver the Midianites into thine hand. And let all the other people go, every man unto his place. So it went from 10,000 to 300, brother. He sent 9,700 people home, brother.
Con, bro.
Because what? Their minds wasn't ready.
Their mind wasn't ready.
You know? You got it?
You gotta go with the men who wars in their hearts also.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because that means your heart, you prepare for it. You ready to go into it.
Yeah.
All right, and when you go into it, you gonna handle business.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if your life on the line, you just gotta be on point, bro. All right, or you gonna be a casualty. Go ahead.
I got one for you, the one in the law that I was telling you about.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Just the one in real quick in Deuteronomy, and it'll back up that Timothy. He got the word entangled.
Yeah.
Just to back it up, because again, this is in our law. You know, this is Deuteronomy 24:5. It says, when a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year and shall cheer up his wife, which he had taken. All right. But again, this is something that's stated in our law, and it's stated in our law for a reason. Because again, if you just got married, your mind is on your woman, it's on your wife, this is on your new family that you just started. All right. It is not on war, you know, where your mind needs to be at 100%. You can't be in a war battleground at 99%, at 97%. You can't barely just be there. You got to be all the way committed to the battle, fully committed to the battle, because your life is on the line. All right.
Yeah.
So again, the Lord, again, he doesn't allow no corner cutting in this thing, man. All right. It's stated everywhere for the Israelite man and woman to walk this earth in perfection, man. You know, and that's just it, bro. So you got it.
Going back to the preparation of your mind.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that out too. I was watching a brother, I believe it was yesterday or something like that. GMS Spiritual Army, I believe it
That's
was something like that.
he in DC. That's the elder who be doing the Hebrew
The elder money guy.
yeah.
Is that him? He got
Army 144.
no, I don't think that's him.
Oh.
It's a I get it mixed up. It's something with the army or something. I don't think that's him. But he was just making a point of how he did a video called being in this truth is a mental battle, right? And he spoke about how, like, if you don't have a woman right now, I seeing the times that we in, it wouldn't be, it's not saying it's off, but it wouldn't be as wise to go try to get women.
Yeah.
Get a woman, right? Knowing, like, it's the distraction, right? Knowing what's going on. Got it.
Yeah, if I could add to you, Apostle Paul speak of it. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, and that backs up the point I just mentioned.
Yeah.
The Lord don't allow no corners to be cut. He has an answer for everything. Even though, again, what Paul went into, it wasn't stated, that's not something that's stated in the law to not deal with women. Paul just gave you advice that, hey, I don't deal with women, and it's helping me. It's helping me work and operate. For some men, you know, that may be different, because you may have a nice holy woman that's, you know, working alongside with you, that's helping you get closer to the Lord. You know, so that's a beneficial relationship that's going on. You know? But you guys, bro.
It's 1 Corinthians 7. We'll start at 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passing away. But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried care for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord.
And that's why the scriptures, when they speak about a eunuch, I speak about the benefits of a eunuch, the characteristics of a eunuch. Because when you're a eunuch and you're not dealing with women, you're dealing with the Lord.
Right.
That's time that's you pouring that into the Lord. You pouring your spirit into the Lord.
Right.
again, not saying dealing with women is off or is wicked, right? But we know women are strong, right? They're distractions, right? Brothers literally call them my demon,
Yeah.
right? Because they get deep. It's a gateway for Satan,
It's a gateway for Satan, man.
right?
Yeah.
Again, knowing the times that we in, this is a battle, demons are heavy, demons are high, brothers recommend if you don't ain't dealing with a woman, just focus on the Lord,
Yeah.
not saying, you can't, what is it, bro? Entangle and don't just burn,
Right.
don't just burn, but be focused, you gotta be focused.
Let me
If I can say it real quick, you want to say something?
Yeah, you can say what you want.
Because
It's kind of stuff on mine.
I'm gonna say this: if brothers, if you ain't coming like, I'm gonna say this like this, brother. If you ain't been with this woman, right, and you coming in the truth, right, and she kind of just like chilling, or you doing your thing, she got respect for what you do.
I got it.
You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Keep, don't be like, oh, you don't fucking believe.
That's
You gotta
unlawful.
go. That's unlawful,
That's
man.
unlawful.
It tell you that in the same chapter, man. You know,
Yeah.
that's that
For
IC spirit.
yeah, for those who don't know, because sometimes you just gotta say shit because we don't really go into this topic like that,
No,
right?
no.
But if you come in a true dolo, it's really not wise to go get a girlfriend, you know, because what you gotta do, you gotta wine and dine.
Yep. That's
She
what
might
I'm
want to go
saying.
somewhere on Friday nights. She might want to go somewhere on Saturday nights. But that's camp time.
Yep.
You see, it's best to just get you a little something that you could just deal with. You pop her here and there. If she get the trip and you kick that bitch to the curb, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you just helped me. Remember, it's responsibility that come in dealing with women. As the brother just went into examples of things that you have to do to wine and dine and keep your woman. But
Right.
we got the example right there. What it said in the law in the Deuteronomy 24. It said for a year. You
Yeah.
take a year off
Yeah.
to make your wife happy.
Happy, yeah.
Like that shows that the effort that comes into dealing with the woman. And then also backing up another point that you mentioned, you can also cause your woman to err off to sin,
Yeah.
by not dealing with her correctly. If you don't deal with her correctly and she goes off to deal with another man because you're not doing it right, that's
Right.
your fault.
That's your fault.
You gotta give her due
Her
benevolence,
due benevolence, yep.
right?
Yep.
And that's why I mentioned don't just burn either. You'll
Right.
go commit adultery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Well, go ahead, bro.
Just go back up in 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
Done.
Want to see something?
You got it. I'm gonna add.
Go ahead,
add
go
to
ahead,
you.
go ahead.
Read it again.
Gone. This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
Now jump back to 32. Read 32 and 33.
Gone.
Because it said Pope, right?
Gone.
So this talking about men that have women and men that don't. The time is short, like the brother opened up with. This is all the things we were going into. And it's beautiful because it turned into the mindsets that both men with women, men that don't have women, the mindset that you're supposed to have, man. The time is short. It remained as if they have none. Brother, we be growing so much doing lessons, conference calls, on the phone, breaking bread with each other that you forget. It's like, damn, I gotta, because once you start hearing that little voice in your ear, it's like, ah, shit, fuck, I gotta, I'll take it somewhere. Fucking 3 months pass. You're like, oh shit, But that's how it go. Because why? We locked in on the truth, man. You know? Go ahead.
All right. It's 1 Corinthians 7 and 32. But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried care for the things that belong to the Lord.
Right. So when you don't have a woman, you can't. Hey, look, I'm pushing with the brothers.
Yeah.
It ain't no afterthought for brothers. Hey man, more power to you, brother.
Yeah.
I wish I had it that way.
What we doing Saturday? We doing this and that and the third.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I'm gone, yeah. And let her. You gotta add children in the factor too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because all of that comes with having a family and a troop. But like I said, it's you just can't get caught up in it. Gotta have your affairs in order too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because if you could see, just how the Lord is operating this movie, man, he may have a brother up here dealing with the rest of this, and he might have a brother down here dealing with all of that. But it's still an equal balance. It's like every man got their own battles and what they got to deal with. You know, it all still works perfectly up pleasing Yahweh Shemel Shah. You know, you all up that number. You know, you got it, man. You got it.
Verse 33. But he that is married care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, it's not saying that something is wrong with having a woman, having a wife, right? But it just tell you that when you have one, you have things that she may ask you to do. Because ultimately, that's basically you treat your woman like another you, right? You treat her how you would want to be treated. Because it's still that you gotta spend, hey brother, if you don't spend no time with your woman, she really gonna hate you.
Right.
And that's gonna cause friction and make what? Wait for Satan to get in there and you know, now it's all World War III, you know, some other shit done happen. You know, you gotta use wisdom, man.
Yeah.
You know, you got a little show, you might watch the episode or two of the show. Hey man, you give a woman that, brother, she cool.
Hey,
You know?
don't forget about nowadays of just how wicked the fucking woman is of what the fuck they fuck up the body.
Yeah.
They try to do some spiteful shit, you know, to the man that's not dealing with her correctly,
Right.
but know all the things that you do. He be with the brothers on Saturday, he be with this and that and third, and then all of a sudden, you, like the elder said, you in the courtroom watching a video of you being a black Israelite theist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What's crazy is they literally a couple years ago they literally had that situation happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a brother.
With a brother,
Yeah,
yeah.
real, bro.
Yeah.
Your brother did a video on it, like the brother woman was in a fucking interrogation room at a police station or whatever like that, saying, "Oh, he does this. He an Israelite. He believes in this. He believes in that." I ain't making it seem like he's a TS or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because Salaki, real quick, because even if your woman don't believe what you believe in, she still know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
She still know what you're a part of.
Right.
It might have been some instance where you might have tried to teach her. You might have just had a conversation with her, like, look, this is what it is, this is what I'm doing. You know, just as a courtesy, you know. But she living in the house with you, brother. Of course, she gonna know what you're doing. You see? But that's why you gotta just do the smallest thing to just keep her at bay, man. You know?
Right. Which I was about to say that as a quick PSA. You know, if that's an option to not let her know anything about what the hell you're doing, use that card. You know, but
yeah, don't be up here teaching women and all that crazy shit, man.
Go home, give her a Hebrew name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jake, you ain't gotta do all that. The work is for you.
You serving the Lord, brother. You serving the Lord for your house, man.
You make it as easy on you as possible, you know, because if you make it as hard of having too many people in your business, it's gonna cause a lot of friction, you know. But it's ways to do it, man. And the Lord gives us the game of how to operate it.
Yeah, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing.
Absolutely.
Like, ain't nobody. We shouldn't be on a. This the brother Kushab right here, big. This Bayan.
He good at
That
this.
Bayan. Yeah, he.
That was the nigga that came out on Canal.
Yeah,
that buddy. Good at this lessons right here.
Uh-huh.
I'm a why he be doing this.
Come on, bro.
What we doing,
Out
bro?
in front of the lady, like, come on, bro.
Like, you worry about the wrong thing.
Right.
In the first place, I just do what's pleasing to the Lord, bro.
Yeah.
Our women, whatever like that, don't got nothing to do with our work, man. We just like the brother say, we gotta give them our what's due of us, right? What's due. You know your due benevolence, a little bit of time, whatever like that. But the main focus, our purpose is your how about sending how side. All right, that's what most of our effort gotta go into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Foundation.
But you said you had one. How about you?
Yeah. Quick one.
You had one?
Oh, no. I had that second too.
Quick one. You know what I'm about to get to with this Ecclesiastes 3, King Solomon. Straight to the point. 3 and 5. Ecclesiastes 3 and 5. There was a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing.
There's a time and a season for everything. All right. It's a time to be, well, really, we in the times where it's the time to not be doing a lot of stuff. All right.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Like mostly, we really gotta cut cut ties with like mostly a whole lot of shit, bro. I had to be real. As close as we get to the end, we know that the demons are getting heavier. Things are out here happening. We can't afford to have a whole lot on our plate, to where we slip up and it caused weariness and trouble in the flesh. I was translated to spiritually and the truth. We that's part of having your mind prepared, being prepared. When you prepare your mind, you cutting ties with shit. Like you cutting ties with different things. To have your eyes single on what that one thing. And that's our purpose. That's the work of the Lord. I was commanded of us.
This is a Sirach 38 and 24. It says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure,
Free time.
and he that have little business shall become wise.
That one more time.
The Sirach 38 and 24, it says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure.
The wisdom of a learned man coming by opportunity of leisure. What's your leisure time? Free time, right? Sometimes we gotta make free time, bro. Sometimes you just don't. Brothers may not have it to where free time just fall in their lap, right? Brothers got families, kids, jobs, whatever like that. It's crazy. I mean, he ain't really doing it, but it's like
Usually pretty quiet for the most part.
like, but yeah, opportunity of leisure. All right, we got to create leisure time, and the part of creating leisure time is cutting off things or not getting into things that can take leisure time away from us. All right, not adding on unnecessary responsibilities. All right, Jacob start messing with a woman. All of a sudden, it's 2 weeks. She your girlfriend. Come on, bro. That's crazy. All right, but it's simple things like that. But go ahead, bro.
And he that have little business shall become wise.
He that had little business shall become wise. So we got to keep our business little. All right, the responsibilities we got. All right, if um if we don't have to, we shouldn't be adding on anymore. All right, this what we got right now. This is just what we need to deal with. All right,
Hey, real quick, I seen the what you saying?
Why is the I got it?
Okay, real quick, because I seen this video. It's like shit be going around on social media, brother, and how Jake was what's that 2 Chainz song? I be fresh as hell if the feds watch it.
Yeah, the fears.
And Jake put the meme up there, like if the feds was watching me, all they gonna see is me going to work,
yeah,
going to camp,
real.
going home, going to work, going like that's all you're gonna see, brother. Because we got little business, Brothers may do certain things, uh, uh whatever, It's the same shit every week.
Hey, just make it up like Elder Pastor Hart said, man. Being a man of the Lord, you're gonna have a boring life.
Yeah.
Because you can't be in the world and serve Yahweh by Shema outside at the same time. It's impossible.
And it ain't really boring either,
It ain't boring.
That's what I like.
Hey, it's boring to outside.
Yeah,
It's boring to other people. This ain't really boring. Hey, what's boring to them is really peace for us. It's peace to not have a million and one things going on, bro.
Yep.
While we fighting in the flesh, fighting against demons, that boredom to them, that is our peace. So it's really not even boredom. You can't be bored when you got this book right here. When you got the Holy Bible, when you got an unction, from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, the spiritual endowment, you can't get bored.
Yeah.
We got a book to telling us the mysteries and the secrets of heaven, of everything.
There's always
Life is right here in our hands.
Yeah.
How can you get bored? We got history, we got mysteries, we got whatever you name it, we got accounts, whatever. We got it all. Got it.
Yeah, Shaq. Look, think about it, man. Every movie takes something out of the Bible. So, like you said, why be bored? You can just go into your book and read and watch whatever kind of movie you love. You like action? Action in the Bible. Love story? There's love story in the Bible. If you like horror, there's horror in the Bible. Everything is death. So there's no point. Like you said, our life is not boring because we have this in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, going through it. You got it up.
Nah, we can't really get bored when we got the spirit of life. When Yahweh Shemi outside gave us a portion of his spirit. Ain't no such thing as really getting bored. All right, we always have something to do, something to indulge in if it's nothing to do outside of what we usually doing. All right, but you got it, bro.
This is Sirach 11 and 9. I'm reading the KJV and the GNT.
Hey, what? Before you read that, bro, I just want to say, hey, when I get off work, I'm cool with going straight home, bro. Like that's going straight home. You know, doing what I gotta do.
Mhm.
Rather read, do a video. I probably eat, watch a little TV, go to sleep. I'm cool with doing that every day.
Yeah.
And then on the weekend or whatever like that, going to camp and then going back inside. All right, that's cool. I don't gotta be engaged in what's ever going on outdoors, right? We know it's just the congregation of the dead
Mhm.
out there. You just gonna get tied up in all different kind of manners of foolishness. You said it. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
You can go after him.
but Jake, don't think we just robots though.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. And it ain't to be over righteous.
right?
Like, don't be over righteous. That's not saying you can't do nothing. Hey, you gotta feed the spirit, but you have to feed the flesh too. I was watching the elder Zahab. I was watching a video he did this morning. I forgot what it was titled. But he was speaking about the movie the life of Pi or something. It's something like that.
With the tiger.
With the tiger, right? And he made like a correlation to it, like to the truth. He was like, on that movie, the boy, he had to feed, the tiger in order for the tiger to not devour him. He had to give the tiger something. And he likened that unto us feeding our flesh a little bit, all right, so our flesh don't take over.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
That's like, it'll just, once you starve it out, it'll just devour you,
Mhm.
right? So you got to give it something, because we still in these fleshly bodies, all right, these chains of darkness. We have to give it something. You can't just be spiritual all day, all right? But that point, when he made that point, it kind of stuck with me.
Hey, if I just say real quick,
Go ahead.
that fits on so many aspects because you just lit the light bulb in my head when it comes to working out. When it comes to being entirely strict on your body, that can cause outbursts that I was telling you about. That could cause outbursts of cravings because you're being too strict on your body.
Right.
You not giving, the sweets of things that might calm you down for a minute to make you want to get your mind back right. You know what I'm saying? But that just correlates with that. But you got it.
And back you up. That's why, like I do, I pray to the Lord for balance. Because if you don't have balance, one or the other thing is gonna ruin you.
Right.
So you gotta have equal balance in everything you do, especially in this truth.
And that's funny. That's what this.
Go ahead.
I never read this in the GNT, and the GNT actually gonna go into that. But this is Sirach 11 in the in 9 in the KJV. It says, "Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in the judgment with sinners." Pretty much just mind your business, mind your own business. But this the point in 10. It says, "My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing." All right. There is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind. And again, there is another that is slow and hath need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of the Lord looketh upon him for good, and set him up from his low estate. All right. But this is in the GNT. Sirach 11 and in 9 in the GNT. It says, "Don't get into an argument over something that is none of your business. Don't take part in decisions that are being made by sinners." And that is helpful by going from point A to point B. Not meddling in many business, not being on the streets with these niggas, not being out and about with these niggas constantly. You going from A to B, and that's helping you avoid from making decisions with sinners.
Hey, you made that point. When I think about it, bro, I got people who are like family members, close best friends, who I literally grew up with. I knew all my whole life. They don't, bro. They don't even see me physically. Like, we don't even. I don't even. We don't even wind up in like the same room, same places, right? the closest I get to some of them is on a game,
Right.
like just playing a game. But serious though, and it's because when you come into the truth, like your life, the people you hang around, what you hold around yourself, it changes.
Yeah.
It becomes more strict. In order for you to become more spiritual. I don't have nothing in common with the people who aren't in the truth. If you're not a brother, we don't have anything in common.
Yeah, the
So
conversation's only gonna go
so far, and it's gonna be real short, because if you ain't serving the Lord, you serving debt, you serving wickedness, for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't really have any business, but I can sit up here and talk to a brother, for hours. I hang with a brother for hours, and we could have met last year. So it's crazy, but that's how the spirit works. All right.
Because even with that simple uh action right there is still getting the work done.
Yep.
If you banging with a brother, when two or more gather in the midst, I'm in the midst, like butchering them.
Yep.
But again, you get the point. But and this backs up, further the point, and this is where it really gets good in the GNT. Sirach 11 and 10. It says, "My child, don't get involved in too many things. If you try to do too much, you will suffer for it. You won't be able to finish your work, and you won't be able to get away from it either." Come on, man, you trapped.
trap your own
You
self.
can't get in and you can't get out. Like, come on, bro. You trapped. It says, for instance, there is someone who never stops working like a slave, but gets further behind all the time. All right. You get caught up in this world and you thinking that you going to like Haggai 1:6, man. We got holes in our pocket, holes in our bags, man. Jake, you ain't gonna never make it out here, Jake. And if you want to make it, you're gonna have to sell your soul.
Yep.
Sell your soul, trade your crown for Esau's crown, and receive the luxuries of this life for a blink of a season, you know. But it says, for instance, here is someone who never stops working like a slave, but gets further behind all the time. On the other hand, this is us. On the other hand, someone else may be very poor, not up to his task. He may be slow and he may need help, but the Lord is pleased with him and pulls him out of his bad situations because he has a lot of time on his hand. Yeah, he may be slow, but things are still being done. Things are still operating and moving in the right direction. Therefore, the Lord is pleased with that man that has little business.
Con, when you don't got a whole lot on your plate, and you're dealing with the Lord,
Mhm.
all that time and attention, for the most part, it could go to the Lord.
Con.
That's why it's easier to deal for the Lord to deal with a man like that.
Con.
Bro, cutting these things off, it makes our relationship with the Lord stronger. Because now you cut this off, you cut that off, you cut that off. Now the Lord can continue to sup with you, on a more intimate level, and it just keeps on going.
Hey, I'm about to hit you with something. When it comes to the Wi-Fi, when you turn off too many all the devices and you leave one device on, don't that signal become stronger to
Way
that one
stronger,
device?
way
Because
stronger,
you're
bro.
cutting off all the devices that don't need to be hooked on to the fucking
Pulling,
to the Wi-Fi, man.
That's cool.
Come on, man.
Hey, this pulling,
That shit
this
shit some
pulling,
chills to
this
me.
pulling. I'm going to turn off all the Wi-Fi on all the devices that nobody ain't using.
Mhm.
The computer, all that. And then I'm gonna get back to what I'm putting my attention to, and I can do it right now. I can be focused now. All right, it's clear now. What lead the shooter say? I understand it
I
now.
understand
Yeah.
it.
Hey, because now the signal is stronger. I don't have this pulling at me. I don't got this pulling at me. I don't got this pulling at me. Now I can serve the Lord with a sound mind. All right.
Singleness of heart. I like that right there. Like,
Go ahead.
This is First Peter 4:1. The points basically all it's in full, but it's going. Yeah, it says, "For as much then as Hamashiach have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that have suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the power."
You want to see some more?
Yeah, Khan. So, like you were saying, you had the different people, you was hanging out with in the world, doing the same. Basically, you're doing the same things. What's the scripture's going to say, you know? you're no longer doing those things, right? When you come to join yourself to the Hamashiach, you disconnect yourself from the world. You pull the power plug, right? Verse 3, it says, "For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lusts, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries." Verse 4, it says, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you.
Ooh, that's heavy. And they think it's strange. They think it's strange because we go from living one way to the whole flip, like complete opposite. Like, damn, it's a day and night switch. Right? And I wonder what's up with him, yo? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking he going with
Yeah.
I got that kebab. I got that kebab. But nah, yeah, cause we changed our lifestyle. It's a whole 180. I should say. Jake said a 360, you just go back to the same spot.
Yeah.
So a whole 180, all right, that we do. And we ain't it's something that they can't understand, all right, because they can't understand why to them we're so strict, all right. We don't eat this, we don't eat that, we don't go here, we don't go there. We ain't doing this. I gotta go to camp, I gotta do this, all right. So it's strange to them. All right, because what they was living a life of a riot, basically, because they ain't serving the Lord. All right, they're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their abilities. All right, so it's chaos in their life. It's riots. All right, so when you change from that and you go to a life of heavy discipline, heavy temperance, uh, and things of that nature, it's amazing. It's astonishing. I want to see.
Yeah.
You want to see something?
Yeah, just back you up, especially on that part about when we changed our lives. I remember I got a notification for an old message I had left on Facebook. When I read the message, I was like, when did I even make that message? When did I even do this? It was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but I can see the way I think now and the way I think back then were two different things. And it's just like, I said that?
Yeah.
Yep.
But you got it out.
You just become a whole different person, literally. When I think about uh who I was a year ago, who I was 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Hey, I'm a whole completely different person than I was 5 years ago. Right? People who knew me 5 years ago, if you ain't in the truth, you probably don't, and you don't live in my household, you really don't know me no more. Literally, like, because I don't spend time around a whole lot of people. It's really time with the brothers in the household for the most part. So you really don't know me. Yeah, you could be a family member, a close family member. And you wouldn't even know me from years ago. I'm a whole completely different person. That I was. All right. But y'all brothers, whatever y'all got.
I got one.
Wrap it up.
This James 4. Oh,
Nah, you good. Okay, good.
this James 4:4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that friendship with the world is enmity with Yahweh? Question mark. Whosoever therefore be friends of the world is enmity of Yahweh. And I brought that out to show that if you're still dabbling in the world where you're trying to balance the world and the truth, you're not really in the truth. You still friends with the world, and they're gonna be soon. How about Shema Shai gonna spit you back out into that world? But you got it out.
You gotta pick a side. You gotta pick a side. And all these points that we, brought out, it all goes back to having your mind in preparation. All right, knowing what's to come. Like I started off saying, we this close to forever. We this close to eternity. All right, so how much more should our minds, be in the spirit of what we about to receive? All right, what's going on right now in front of our faces? See something?
Yeah, they got the saying. I did a lesson on it a long time ago. But the 5 P, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Time, bro. That's heavy. Say it again.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
5 P's.
And we're preparing properly, all right, so we can receive the end of our fate. And we this close to receiving it. So with that being said, brothers, hold on to the faith. We almost out of here. Hopefully, this the year. All right. But we gonna end it. Before we get out of here, I want to give infinite honors and praises to
Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash.
double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. A Baba Ball.
Baba Ball.
Baba Ball.
Baba Ball.
Baba Ball.
Baba Ball.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Shalom.
Shalom.